Bordas and Bordas hotline right here. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Now it looks like the Penguins are going to be not only shorthanded, they had too many men on the ice, from what I'm seeing here. Whatever the case, it's going to go right down the end. Only 34 seconds left. Ottawa's called a timeout, and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, call me. 412-575-2600 is that number to call. Brad in Duncansville. Hey, Brad, can count on you nightly. How you doing?
Good, Bob. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, thanks.
I have a Penguin comment for tonight's game and a Steeler question for you. The Penguins have played a great game tonight. As long as they kill us off, I think we're going to take the series in 6. And my Steeler question is, since Ladarius Green is gone, I know Jesse James is still there. Who's other depth at tight end? Thank you.
All right, well, what they got is, they brought in Scott Orndorff as a free agent. Ladarius Green is gone. They also believe in, David Johnson's a usable guy they bring. Xavier Grimble is another guy they've used. They have options there, but, the bottom line is they're going to need some help. And they had a guy to pick in the 4th round who was a guy coming off a knee injury. They chose Josh Dobbs instead, and they had to have known that, Ladarius Green was not going to pass a physical. I mean, there were doubts on him even last training camp. And that's certainly something that sorry, Brad, I'm being distracted here. We're down to 27 seconds, but there's a 2-man advantage essentially here for the Ottawa Senators. So may as well just call this, and we'll see what happens here. Kyle Turris has the puck around the boards, and the Penguins are trying to get this thing out, and they can't do it. Now they're really shorthanded. This is desperation time with 12 seconds left. 12 seconds left. Carlson rings it up, and it's kept on the zone. Mike Hoffman, and Carlson again with a shot. Deflected. Bodies all over the ice. And the Penguins are going to win this thing, or are they? Yes, they are. 3-2 the final score. So there you go. They held on. You didn't expect too many men on the ice at the end of that. My goodness, a 2-man disadvantage with guys on the ice is almost like a 3-man disadvantage throughout segments of that. So it's a big win for the Penguins. And they have even the series of 2 games apiece. That's a dangerous situation to get in. Called for too many men on the ice at the end of the game. My goodness. I didn't know if it was a good call or not, but bottom line is they got it done. Let's go to John in Brookline. John, what do you think?
Thanks for taking my call, guy. How you doing, man?
What's up, John?
What's up? Good win for the Pens, man. I'm looking forward to Sunday. Do you think the Pens can win Sunday and take the series back to Ottawa and win the whole thing? Thank you.
Well, first of all, it's a best of 3 now, so there's going to be, I think it'll probably go 7 now based on what I see, although you never know. I mean, if whoever wins Game 5, then all of a sudden ramps up for Game 6. So you got to win 2 of the next 3. The advantage is you have home ice, so you get 2 of those 3 at home, and I think that's a nice advantage for the Penguins who play well here, no question about it. So 412-575-2600 now. I assume people will get on the phone and let me know what you think about this one. A good effort tonight by Matt Murray in goal, but I also thought guys in front of him played well, especially in the first 2 periods. The Penguins kind of let things happen to them in the 3rd period, and that's one thing you don't want to do. Although Phil Kessel was denied, that looked like a big opportunity for the Penguins. Had they got that one, it would have been a 4-1 game, and then at that point, all bets are off, and I think Ottawa was done. But they got a goal by Carlson, which deflected off a bunch of legs, and then they get the opportunities at the end. But the good thing is they built the 3-0 lead, and now they secure that win. So it's 2 games apiece, as is the Western Conference Final, although you may have seen this, or if you didn't, it's a big news item. Last night in their loss at home, Nashville, and by the way, it's their first loss at home in their last 11 games in the playoffs. They've been very good there, and it was Ryan Johansson who got involved in what looked like just a light check, nothing major, and yet he did something to his left thigh, and he had surgery today. So he now is lost for the rest of the season for Nashville. That's a big loss. He's been playing outstanding hockey, and he's one of the guys they rely on. And he's had on the top line with Arvidsson and Forsberg. That unit has been great together. So obviously Peter Laviolette is going to have to make some adjustments there. But in the meantime, the Penguins have their work cut out. They're now just 2 wins away from getting to another Stanley Cup championship. And hopefully, if they get more time here, you're going to get some of these guys back in the lineup. They need more guys in the lineup. It's just having a trickle-down effect. Let's go to Al in Pittsburgh. Hey, Al, how you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
All right, what's up?
I was watching that game. Murray played a dynamite game tonight. There's no doubt about it. The other night I talked to you about it, and I said I thought that they'd put Murray in. which they did, which was the right call, I believe, anyways. And it's great that we have Fleury as a backup. This is wonderful, you know. But like I said, you got to give it to Murray tonight. Murray, he played a super game. And you know what? The Pens just have to keep this up now. They got to keep up the speed, you know, keep up the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think there was a bad choice to make here, whether it was Fleury or Murray. I preferably would have gone back to Fleury just because I think, you know, you look at the first periods of all of their games so far in this postseason, he has been the one thing that's kept them in many, many games. And I think you would be smart to point out that if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't even be playing this time of the year. So they are. But you knew that Mike Sullivan really likes Matt Murray, and that's fine. His prerogative was to go in that direction. And he believed enough in him and his team. I think it also was meant to tell his team, I'm going to do this, and maybe the message was play tighter, let's go, you know, the more of a message-sending kind of move more than anything else. I don't know. But, hey, when you have two goalies of that caliber, it really was not going to be the number one thing. I thought the number one thing was goal scoring. We had seen only 3 games in a row with 1 goal in each game, and that's it. They needed to score more, and they got production tonight from 2 defensemen. Who would have thought that? One of them went out with an injury, never returned, Chad Ruhwedel, which was a stupid cheap shot by Bobby Ryan. Cole jumped in. He should have been penalized, which he was, but nothing on Ryan. Again, the NHL is missing a good game, some of these officials. Line 3 we go. It's Keith in Johnstown. Hey, Keith, how you doing?
Hi, Bob. Thanks for taking my call. Love the show.
Thank you.
I'll be real brief here. I'd just like to look at the scenario of this year's playoffs. We played Columbus, then Washington. Seems to me that the playoff structure needs to change, just my opinion, but how about this? If you have more points than the other team that you're playing in the playoffs, you get 3 home games right off the bat. And you take it back to
They're not going to do that.
I know, but hear me out just for 1 second. Two games for the opponents that have lesser points, 1 final game for the team that had the most points. In the regular season, they'd be playing for that advantage so much more. What advantage is there now to look what we had to do?
Well, but it's a cyclical kind of thing, don't you think? I mean, every year you can be in the other division, and that division gets hot. I don't know. Listen, I agree that I would go back to the previous system. I've said that before. Thanks for the call. That would be my preference. I know their justification was they wanted more divisional rivalries to be created, and that is certainly what happened. But at the same time, I think it makes kind of a moot point, the 82 regular season games. What do you have to gain by going all out maybe to win a President's Trophy if you know that you're not necessarily going to get the easiest path? So a lot of discussion on it. I understand both sides of it. Let's go to Rick on line 4. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Good.
Love the show, man.
Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
Hey, why won't anybody, whether it be you guys on this nightly sports call or the NHL Network, call out the NHL and the officiating and the lack of consistency in how this playoff series is being called?
I mean, I do it. I've been doing it on Twitter for about 1.5 years or more.
I don't follow Twitter.
I don't know what you're supposed to do. NHL doesn't want to listen. I mean, how many times have they had this situation where they get an opportunity to send a message to someone who's committed something very serious, and what do? They slap them on a wrist. If they continue to do that and not modernize, why have a Department of Player Safety when your issue isn't player safety? If you're going to make guys, do something bad and get away with it, all you're asking for is more of the same. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Line 5 we go. It's Randy in Bridgeville. Hey, Randy.
Bob, how you doing?
What's up, Randy?
Hey, I was watching this game intensely. I cracked myself a couple Busch Natural Lights, and I noticed that Murray looked like he was getting tired in the third period. I think when they come home, they got to put Fleury back in. If you looked at him when they showed the camera on him, he was so full of energy. I think he's ready to go in the next game.
I'm sure he'd be ready to go tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think this was Mike Sullivan's opportunity to get Murray in the net. I think Murray is his preference. I don't think there's any surprise in that, how you looked at he was the number 1 coming into this season. He played well. He got injured, and that's been the knock on him. He tends to be somewhat injury-prone, although he's just a rookie, so, I mean, you got to cut him some slack. But I think Sullivan was looking for a chance. This was it. I do not see him going back, and he'd be criticized the other way if Fleury went in there Sunday, and then they'd have a problem. So you're going to see Murray the rest of the playoffs, in my opinion, unless something happens like we saw in Game 1, or which game is it now? The other night, Game 3 in Ottawa in the first period. He may, yank him at that point, but I think Murray is going to be there the rest of the way, in my opinion. Rich in Altoona is up. What's up, Rich?
Hey, Bob. Great to talk to you again. I want to switch gears up a little bit, talk about the Pirates and Clint Hurdle. Bob, you've been around. Winning means you have to be consistent to win. And teams that win put out consistent lineups every day. Clint Hurdle doesn't have that luxury. He can't do it because of Marte and because of Gong not being there. And not only does he have the different lineup every day, he doesn't know where some of these guys are going to play every day. So I want people just to get behind Clint Hurdle and, let him know you're behind him, because he has a very difficult job. And we all want the Pirates to win, but I really feel bad for him, and I want people to know that his job is very difficult because he can't put the same lineup out on the field every day.
No, but I do think he should have gone, and thanks for the call, Reg. He should have gone with Adam Frazier again tonight. He's coming off a 3-hit, 4 RBI game. He was their hottest hitter right now here in Josh Bell, and he did not play him tonight. He put Danny Ortiz in the lineup ahead of him. I'm sorry, but I would have done Adam Frazier, and I know he just came off the DL, and Clint said, 3 straight days coming off the DL, want to get him a day's rest. This would not be the time. And look what happened. They got limited to 3 hits tonight, not just because of that. Jeremy Hellickson made some pretty good pitches on the mound for Philadelphia before he left with an injury. But the point is, they don't have, if they had, and seriously, look at their lineup, if they had Marte, Gong, both self-inflicted stupidity, and Polanco, who's been injured, all of those guys healthy in this lineup, you tell me with Bell and McCutcheon would be better, I think, Cervelli and Mercer and Harrison or Frazier. That's a pretty good lineup. Be one of the better lineups in the National League. They don't have it. They struggle. Their bench is weak, and this is what you happen. But tonight it was just a case of not much clutch hitting. All right, so the Penguins advance 3-2. They win this game. They go to a Game 5 in Pittsburgh, best of 3 now, and the Penguins have 2 of the next 3 and the friendly confines of PPG Paints Arena. We'll take a break, come back with more right after this on Pittsburgh CW.